Alright YouTube, check this out. I'm finally making that Utopia deck profile. As you can see, in Seasons 2 and 3, we made it to Plat 1. In Season 1 we didn't make it because I got the game late and I was too lazy. If you scroll down, we don't Fusion, Tribute, Ritual, Synchro, Pendulum, or Link Summon because the only deck we play is Utopia. If you scroll up here, we have dueled 239 times and we've won 167 of them. That's roughly a 69% win ratio. So this is the deck. We're going to go over each card, why we play them, the ratios, and we'll go over some other cards that you can play but you probably shouldn't. We'll also go over some other interactions. And so the first card is Astro Karibo. What it does is you can special summon this card from your hand by revealing a number card in your extra deck, and then its level becomes equal to the rank. This can only be used once per turn, and when it's used for an Exceed summon, the number monster you summon cannot be destroyed by battle or by card effects. So it has multiple uses in this deck. If your opponent has like a big board, you can use it and another monster to summon in Utopia, attacking something that's maybe bigger, and then during your main phase 2 you can just go into Zeus. Also, we play Cook, so if you have 6 cards in your hand and your opponent has multiple negates, you can try to bait out all of your opponent's negates, and if you are able to do it, if the only monsters you have are 2 level 4s, so one of them being Astro Kribo, you can probably just summon Cook and just pass, and you'll probably be safe. We play 3 Maxine, it's the best, probably like one of the best cards in the game. We play 2 Ash and 2 Bell. The reason is we play 2 of each instead of 3 is because I had to make cuts somewhere. Also, you can only activate 1 per turn, so if you have 6 cards in your hand going second, then you're probably better having 1 Ash or 1 Bell than having like 2 Ash, because you can only activate 1 once per turn anyway. Next cards we play is Utopic Onomatopoeia, which counts as each archetype, Zubaba, Gaga, Gogogo, or Dododo, and you can summon one of each from your hand. We play 3 Zubaba Bancho, Gaga Coat. It can special summon itself from the hand if you control a face-up Gaga or Zubaba. Also, you can summon a Dododo or Gogo monster from your graveyard. And then we play 2 Dododo Dwarf Gogo Glove because it's another piece that you need, and it can also summon itself from the graveyard if you control a Dododo or a Gogogo. Also, you can summon a Gaga or Zubaba from your hand. The reason why I play 2 of Dwarf and 3 of the other ones is because when you're going, after you make your plays turn 1, turn 2, if you have all 3 in the graveyard, you'd rather draw Utopic Onomatopoeia or Zubaba Bancho because they can summon a Dwarf from the graveyard. If it's the other way around, if you have Dwarf in your hand and you have a Utopic Onomatopoeia or Zubaba Bancho, then you can't summon either of them from the graveyard because Dwarf doesn't have any way of summoning them from the graveyard. We play 3 Ascended Sage. The reason is because it's really good. It lets you add one of the most important cards in the deck to your hand, the Mega Magic spell. Also, it's really nice to special summon itself and doesn't start a chain, so your opponent can't chain Max C to it. Even if you don't open up with it, it's okay because we have another card to add it to your hand. Next, we play 2 Astrotopia. We used to have it at 1. We moved it up to 2 just because it's okay if you draw it with Ascended Sage. Because if you draw this card with like one of the Onomat monsters, you can't do anything. You have no plays if those are the only 2 monsters you have. Because if you just normal summon the Onomat monster, you cannot special summon Astrotopia in any way. Because you can only be special summoned if you have an Xyz monster on the field. But this is a really good card because it can let you add any one of 4 cards, an Xyz, an Onomat, a Zexal, or a Number spell trap. There are some really good options that you can add from your deck to your hand. So the reason why we played at 2 instead of just 1 like before was because I was just constantly opening up Ascended Sage, and then I would open up one of my 3 Astro Kribos. I was just thinking, oh man, I really wish this was Astrotopia instead. So that's why I bumped this up to 2 and Astro Kribo down to 2. Next card we have is 1 Pegasus Twin Saber. It's the only Zexal weapon we play because Zexal weapons are bricks. You don't really want to draw this card at all. So you just want to activate it from your deck with one of the other Utopia's effects. It's really good. It can get a monster effect on your opponent's field. It doesn't start a chain, so you can activate in the middle of the chain. And also, Your Utopia gains 1,000 attack, which isn't really a big deal, but it can come up sometimes. Next card we have is Down Arrest Prankertops. It's a really nice going second card. It can just summon itself, and it's also like a pop, just like it trades for a 1-for-1. So it's a really nice way to break your opponent's boards. Also, it's really big, so you can just attack over something. One issue this deck has is spells and traps, so Down Arrest Prankertops is really good at getting rid of those. We play 1 Reinforcement of the Army, adds a combo piece, or the Zexal weapon, Zexal Servant, so it's really nice. We play 3 Automata Para. What it does is you send a card from your deck from your hand to the grave, and lets you add 2 cards from your deck to your hand, with, being from different archetypes. It's really good. It lets you add all the combo pieces to your hand. Same thing with Automata Pickup. It just does the same thing that Para does, because Pickup lets you add Para, and then it has another effect which doesn't really come up, but you can target an automatic monster you control, and all other monsters on your field become equal to the same level. So it can come up sometimes, like if you have Prankertops on your field, you can change it from like a 7 to a 4. If you played Kaijus, you can also play, you can also make the Kaijus become level 4 to use them for excess material. Next card we have is the Mega Magic card. This is the card that we need to make all our best plays. You don't really want to draw this card, you want to add it with Zexal Servant. Lets you summon the big boss monster that we'll go over later. Next we play just 1 Exchange Chains Tactics. The reason why we play just 1 is because you can just add it from your deck to your hand with Utopia. It's really good, it lets you draw like 4 cards a turn, just by paying 2,000 life points total. So yeah. Next card has Double or Nothing. We really don't want to draw this. The reason why we do play it is because we play Utopia Double. Its effect actually does come up sometimes, just negate an attack with Utopia, then attack again. It's really good for OTKing. Everyone probably won't expect it. Yeah. And we play 2 Call by the Grave. It's a really good card, stops hand traps. It's just very diverse. There's nothing really more to say about this card. We'll play 2 Evenly Matched. The reason why I play is at 2 instead of 3 is just because I had to make cuts somewhere. This is a really good card to break your opponent's boards. The reason why I play this over a card like Lightning Storm is because Imperial Order is a card which can negate Lightning Storm. So yeah, this card just banishes everything face down, so it can get rid of cards that can't be destroyed by battle or by card effects. So yeah, it's a really good card. We played 2 Imperm. Again, we played it at 2 instead of 3 just because we had to make cuts. I prefer this over a card like Forbidden Chalice because this card can also be activated during your opponent's turn if you're going second. And also this card does deal with something the deck struggles with, spells and traps. If you set it first, you can also negate a spell or trap. We play 2 Numbers Protection. The reason why we play 2 instead of 1 is because we want to draw into this card, not when you open with it, not to open with it, but with the Exchange Chains Tactics. If you can only add 1 card with the Utopia, you'd rather add the Exchange Chains Tactics, so you can have follow-up, and then you're able to draw like 4 cards with Exchange Chains Tactics, and you're hoping that one of those cards would be Numbers Protection. You play 2 to increase those chances. This is a really good card. It can just negate anything if you control a number card, and it can set itself back to the field if your number card gets destroyed. This is the extra deck. We play 1 Utopic Future. We just use this to make Utopic Draco Future. This card can negate a monster effect from anywhere, and it cannot be destroyed by battle or by card effects. And if you do negate a monster effect from on the field, you can take control of that card permanently. We play 2 Utopia. 2 is really good. You only need 1 for the combo, and the second one is just for the follow-up. Going on like your second turn, summoning double and summoning Utopia to attack for game. So you only need 2. You don't need 3, and you probably need more than 1. We play 1 Utopia Prime. We just use this as excess material. Its effect doesn't come up really, but its effect could come up more often than Utopia Ray, which is why we play this instead of Utopia Ray. This is Cook. In combination with Astral Kuribo, this card just your opponent just can't get rid of this card unless they have a Kaiju. Sometimes you just don't have full combo, So if you only have an Astral Kuriboh on level 4, you can just summon them and summon Cook, and then stall your opponent until you can draw all your combo pieces. Yeah, so this is like a really good card. It's come in handy a lot. I don't like just stalling with it. I just prefer to make plays, but sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do to win. You play Baguska. This card doesn't really come up too much, but it is nice. It can just negate all of your opponent's effects by switching them to defense. It has another effect in attack, where it can't be targeted by your opponent's card effects. So that's okay. It's pretty good. It's actually I might cut this. It doesn't really come up too often. We play one Utopia double. This card is really good for OTKing, summoning Utopia, and this attacking with 10,000 attack. But you can also summon other Utopias with it. But you usually prefer to just summon regular Utopia with it. We have one Prime Math Mech. The reason why I play this card is to add Astrotopia from your deck to your hand, which is why we only used to play one of it, just because you can add it with this by summoning it with 3 materials. So that's all. It's just really, you just add Astrotopia with it, and then exceed someone with it. That's all you really do with it. We play one number 4 Stealth Kraken. This card's really good. You can summon it off of the boss monster. It just destroys the monster once per turn during either player's turn, and doesn't target, so it's really good. We play one Utopic Sage. This card is really good. It protects your Utopic monsters from being destroyed by battle by card effects once. Also, you can summon a Zexal Weapon or a Zexal Servant from your deck, which is why this is a card that's like really important to the combo. This is Ultimate Utopia Array. This card can attach a Zexal Weapon from your deck to the field. This card can also negate a monster effect once per turn during either player's turn, and it has the attack also. But since it has to negate the monster effect first, you cannot have the attack of vanilla monsters, like Blue Eyes, for example. So this, in combination with Pegasus Twin Saber, you can negate 2 monster effects with 1 card. So this card is really good. We play one Hope Harbinger Dragon, number 38. This card is really good. It has three effects that people don't really know about. Everybody knows about the spell effect. Once per turn, you can just get a spell card or effect. The other effects people don't really know are that once per turn, you can, when your opponent declares not once per turn. When your opponent declares an attack, you can detach material from this card, and the attack is then redirected to this card. It's really good because your opponent just attacks and doesn't expect it. We summon all our monsters in defense position except for this card, just to play around cards like Lightning Storm. So when they attack my defense position Utopias, they attack this instead, and then they get destroyed usually. Another effect this has is that if one of your Xyz monsters gets destroyed, this card can gain the attack, or any card can gain the attack of the destroyed Xyz monster. Next we play Zeus. It's a really good Xyz card, which is why we play it in this deck. Utopia usually stacks on top of Utopia, so this card will usually have like 4 materials, and that's pretty good. So you can activate the effect twice. This is the boss monster, Utopia Dragner. You can detach 2 materials and summon any normal monster from 1 to 100. Other monsters you control cannot attack. And when your opponent declares an attack, you can change the monster's attack points to 0. So that's really good. Really protects your Utopias while they're in defense. With the Utopia Dragonheart, you can summon up to 2 normal monsters because it'll have 4 materials. So you can summon Kraken or Hope Harbinger Dragon this way. But if you choose to summon Utopia Leo with its effect, then you won't be able to summon either number 4 or number 38. So you're going to have to choose depending on what deck you're playing against. Now, I'm going to go over the other cards that you can play, but you probably shouldn't. That being Executive Construction. What this card does, you can reveal a card in your hand, and then add a card from your deck to your hand, and then shuffle the card that you revealed back into your deck. A card this card can add is a Zexal Weapon, a Zexal Servant, a Zexal Spell or Trap, a Rank Up Magic, or a Rank Down Magic. Now, people probably think this card is really good, because you can add this card from your deck to your hand, this card from your deck to your hand, or this card from your deck to your hand. The reason why that's not good is because you don't need to add this to your hand, because you can just summon it off of Utopic Sage. You don't need to add this to your hand because you just add it off of summoning Ascended Sage. And this you don't want to add to your hand. You should rather activate it from the deck with Utopia Leo. And this card makes you go minus. The deck already goes really minus with Astrotopia and the Anomat spells. So the deck really can't afford to go any more minus than that. That's also another reason why you don't play Forbidden Droplet. This card can negate your opponent's entire board, but you probably have to get rid of like 2 or 3 cards, which means you have like almost nothing left for plays. 2 level 4s is enough to summon Utopia, but you won't really have anything else. Lightning Storm, as I said before, we don't play this because of Imperial Order. Also, you have to control no face-up cards. This deck controls a lot of face-up cards, like the Continuous Spell, Automata Pickup, or Exchange Tactics, so it can't come up later in the duel. The next card we have is Utopia's Lightning. When this card attacks, your opponent can activate card effects. Also, its attack can become 5,000 by detaching 2 materials. That might seem really good, but it's not, because battle protection isn't really important. There are so many cards in this game that get rid of cards before the battle even starts. So you can summon this card, but your opponent might already get rid of it before you even enter the battle phase. Also, you cannot use it as exclusive materials. You can't even summon Zeus after you summon this. We don't play Rank of Magic Zexal Force. This card can only summon the rank 5s, which is not good. It's not necessary because we can summon the rank like Utopia Leo off of Utopia Dragonair. So there's no need to play this and the other Rank of Magic spell, because playing multiple Rank of Magic spells is too bricky. And the more of those we have, the less common pieces we might have to summon Utopia. My earlier replays, I did play Kaiju. This Kaiju's carrying really good for the deck. It covers all of the deck's weaknesses. One being defense position monsters. This deck doesn't have any way to pierce, so just attributing like a defense position monster as summoning a Kaiju can really help you go for game. Also, against certain cards like the Herald, which can just have multiple negates. One Imperial Order is not going to cut it. Just Kaijuing it right away can just get rid of it. That's really good. I'm still debating whether to play the Kaiju or the Imperial Order. I mean, Infinite Impermanence. But the reason why I choose Infinite Impermanence is, again, the deck struggles with spells and traps, so it's probably better to have this also a spell or trap negate instead of just a monster negate. Arm Sage. When this card used as an exchange material, you can add a Zexal weapon from your deck to your hand. So it's similar to the Ascended Sage, but we don't play Arm Sage because we don't play any Zexal weapons besides Pegasus. The other Zexal weapons are too bricky, and so there's no need to really play this either. I've seen a lot of people play this. They can summon off a Dragonair, and then with this card, they can summon Numeron Dragon. The reason why that's not good is because they contradict each other. This card says that only the monster you summon with this card can attack. However, Dragonair says that the monster only Dragonair can attack directly when you activate the effect. So if you're attacking your opponent directly, nothing can attack directly because this card says only the monster used this card summons can attack, and Dragonair can only attack directly when it uses its effect. So yeah, you can summon Numeron Dragon and it'll be really big, but it might restrict your attacks. These are the other Zexal weapons that are really good: Lightning Blade and Tornado Bringer. They're actually like really good, and it's debatable to play them or not. But again, the reason why I don't is because they're too bricky, and also in this day and age, this card protects your monsters from being from destruction by card effects once, and this card protects your Utopia from being unable to being targeted. Those seem really good, but in this day and age, there are so many cards that don't target and don't destroy, so it's not even worth playing these cards. This is a Showa Strike. You might think, oh, this is a really good card for OTKing because it can make your Utopia attack all of your opponent's monsters once. But the chances are, if your opponent has multiple monsters, then they're all probably cards that do something on your turn. So chances are you won't even make it to the battle phase to even fully use this effect. This is Sylphid Wing. All this card really does is just make your Utopia gain attack, which the deck doesn't need. Utopia has enough attack as it is. This is just like a win more card. Zeus. Oh wait, I already went over Zeus. So as I said before, there are so many cards in this game that don't target and don't destroy, which makes these cards less good. And these are like the meta cards that do that. You know, Zeus, it doesn't target, it doesn't destroy, so your Zexomas won't save you from this. Access Code Talker, it does destroy, but it does not target. So again, you know, if you have this one, Access Code Talker or Popular Utopia, you have to get rid of this card to save it, but then Access Code Talker can activate its effect again, destroying your Utopia. So it's not even worth having that card. Trapagate Omen. This card does not target and it does not destroy. So again, Zexobans won't save you. Whiptail, when it's attached to a Zodiac, if they attack into your monster, it doesn't target, it doesn't destroy, it'll just banish your monster. Forbidden Droplet, it doesn't target, so all of your monster effects can just be negated, even if you have Tornado Bringer, which protects you from targeting. Forbidden Chalice, I also used to play this card, but the reason why I chose Infinite Impermanence over this is because Infinite Impermanence can be activated on your opponent's turn if they go first. Forbidden Chalice does seem really nice because you can also activate it like in the middle of your turn while you have cards in the field. But again, I just really like the Spell and Trap negation. Nibiru, this also doesn't target and doesn't destroy, so they won't help you. Utopic Dragonic Utopia Ray. This card is not that good. You have to play multiple Zexal weapons for this card to be good. It doesn't do anything on your opponent's turn except for like attach to the Zexal weapon, which is why we don't play this card. Having more Zexal weapons just means more bricks, which means less chances to actually do your combo. Herald Ultimateness. This card does destroy, but doesn't target. So if you try to activate Utopia's effects, you might have to trade a Zexal weapon to activate it. It's just not worth it. This card, Floor, doesn't target, so you can negate Utopia's effects, and your Zexal won't save you from this either. Nightmare Unicorn, this card does target but does not destroy, so you just have to have the right Zexal weapon, for these cards to be good. Herald, Heavenly Spheres, this card does not target and it does not destroy, so again, they won't protect you. Megeki, it does destroy but doesn't target. Shadow Schism, this card does not target and does not destroy, it just sends. So Prosperity, this is a card that I'm really debating about playing. I really want to play it. Most people will say that you can't play it, but you can. You can at least pull it off once. 3 cards you can banish are Kragan, no, not this one. Kragan, Cook, and Baguska. Just banish those 3, and then you'll be able to summon Utopia Ray and Hope Harbinger using Dragonair effect. You might think, you need all these cards, but if you brick, then you're not really summoning anything anyway. So you've got to just get rid of 3 cards to hopefully add and get your common pieces. You could probably even banish 6 by just banishing also Utopic Future, Utopic Draco Future, and Prime Math Mech. So you can probably banish those 6 cards once, or just banish the first 3 once, and hopefully add the other common pieces that you need. Because again, people say that you need all these cards, but if you just brick, you're not doing anything anyway. Here's the Ancient Warriors card. This card does not target and does not destroy. It does target, but it doesn't destroy. It sends back to your hand. We got Battle Butler. This card does not target, but it does destroy. But your opponent can probably pull this off multiple times because if they have the Prankins in the graveyard. And a card like Bulbasaur Dragon, this card just will always beat over your monsters. So having targeting protection and protection from card effects is not going to save you from a card like Bulbasaur Dragon. I'm always working on making the Utopia deck better. I'm actually thinking of making the deck bigger, just adding like 2 more cards, maybe cards like Triple Tax Talent, because having a card that lets you draw one is not enough in this deck. You can't really do anything with just one card. You're always going to need two to summon Utopia. So that's why a card like Triple Tax Talent might be really good. I'm also thinking about adding Pot of Prosperity for more consistency. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the deck profile. I'd really love to hear your opinions about it. What cards do you play? Again, I'm always trying to make the deck better. I'm only focusing on playing Utopia decks, so that's all you're going to see on this channel. So yeah, I'd really love to hear your opinions about this deck. What cards do you play instead? Or if you don't play Utopia, what decks do you like to specialize in? Leave a comment down below. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.